Hey there, Aries, Sun, Aries, Moon, Aries, Rising. Welcome to your reading for the week of December 19th through the 25th. Happy holidays to you if you're celebrating any this week. So your overall energy for the week, okay, yeah, there's something going on with you on a physical level, I imagine. It could be emotional. Something creating some dis-ease. So it could be anxiety or it could be a physical situation. But actually, the more I look at this, the more it's looking like an anxiety issue. Let's just see what else comes out here before I say anything else. Okay, wow. All right. A change needs to be made. A change needs to be made regarding what creates your sense of health and well-being, like a serious change. This is not a little thing. So there is a way to do this, but I think you're going to need more information. You're going to have to talk to somebody, get the guidance that you need, communication with your healthcare provider of some sort. So again, if this is not your reading, check out your sun, your moon, your rising. One of those would be your story. But for you, Aries, it feels like a lot of anxiety over a situation. And whether that situation is health related or not, the anxiety is creating a health issue for you. It's either you're not getting enough sleep, your stress level is off the charts. There's this energy of anxiety that is in this reading like crazy, and the overall energy that you got from Spirit was the card of health. It says, allow me to be tender and accepting of my body, no matter what ailments I may have. May I always know that I'm doing the best I can, and help me be a loving ally and friend to the sacred form. You are being asked to be very health conscious this week. So if you are stressed out, there's a lot of opportunity to overeat. So be careful of that, because it may feel good in the moment, but in the long run, there's something not healthy about that. The same with over consuming of drugs and alcohol. There's some kind of a situation where your body is going to become more vulnerable without proper care, and mostly sleep. I feel like sleep is super important. And if you eat really late and a lot of high fat, sugary foods, it can drive up the acid reflux or even the spicy foods. But what it is that it's usually the fat. And so a lot of times with spicy, they come with high fat foods. And so it's the fat in the food or in the cookies, it's the fat. Because what happens is that I'm going to get a little technical, but it's important to understand. Your liver starts kicking in and working around 10 p.m. at night. And so you have to be done eating, several hours before that, so the digestion has gone through, because what happens is that it needs the bile from the gallbladder to help break down the fat. And if the gallbladder is having to overproduce in order to break down all the fat, then it backs up, and that's when you get the acid reflux, which can totally mess up your sleep. And so, and not to mention that it does damage to your esophagus, it creates long-term health issues, it does so many things. So I say have your cookies for breakfast. Why the heck not? But then that could set up a sugar cycle for the day. So you have to be careful, right? So just find a way to do this. You have the card if you need to cut something out. There needs to be, there's a break that you need. And I feel like it's a break, it's a healthcare break. It's almost like you need a break. You need to take a break. You need to go on a vacation. You need to rest. You need to relax. You need to recover. There's a real recovery kind of thing that's like a sudden and sharp. And if you don't do it, Spirit will do it for you. And we never like it when Spirit says, okay, I told you you needed a break. You didn't take it. I'm going to give it to you right now. because it's very inconvenient when Spirit decides to do it. So it always works better when we go, you know what, I'm going to take some downtime, I'm going to rest, I'm going to recharge, I'm going to eat really good this week, or I'm going to, for just a few days, really focus on things like having some lemon juice in the morning and eating my greens to kind of help clear my liver and work through things. I'm going to do these healthy things so that later this week, when there's all those foods that I like, I can indulge a little more. There's a need to be very focused on setting yourself up. And then there's the anxiety thing. And so walking, taking some physical activity of some sort. You're a fire sign. You have to literally physically move that energy through your system. Otherwise, it gets clogged up and it creates issues for you. It comes out in the form of not being able to sleep, of being all stressed, or with Mars in retrograde in Gemini, like exploding and attacking people, that maybe it's like everybody, that was an overreaction. Well, maybe for that situation it was, but it was this built up like a volcano that suddenly erupts over, like, I don't know, tripping over a piece of paper, and all of a sudden you're just like, right? So give yourself the breaks. Find the space. And I feel like you need to talk to somebody. You really need to talk to someone. It could be a really good friend. I don't think we should ever make our significant other our mental health care provider. That's not to say that you can't share things with them. But I mean, if you need a mental health care provider, then you should get a mental health care provider so that you are not turning your relationship into really one that becomes very unbalanced, where you've got, the knight in shining armor has to take care of the damsel in distress, or, the codependency, right? To keep your relationship healthy and in balance, if you need mental health care, you should get mental health care from someone who is not your significant other. Like, that's not good for your overall relationship, and then in general, not good for your mental health. So the reason I say all this is the key here is this burden that you're carrying in the heart space. So there's a big disappointment about something. And in the card of anxiety, you have the anxiety of the mice. And in both of these cases, they're just sitting there really pensively staring at what's not working. And you're being asked to do something about it, to take a very active role in resolving the situation. And how do I know that? Well, you've been a little confused about what to do here. But in the thing that's been difficult to overcome is the card of action. It's like I'm standing here, like, I know I need to do something, but you're still not doing it for whatever reason. So many things, right? Oh my gosh, this time of year, there's so many things on your plate. I don't think this is about beating yourself up about not having gotten to it sooner. Let's not do that and pile on more. Let's say, hey, here's where I'm at right now. What can I do today? This is where I'm at right now. What is the action step I can take today? Because I feel like, how do you transform this situation? We've got somebody shaking their finger and the other one going, I'm not listening. And I feel like the whips. It feels like repeatedly, Spirit has been trying to draw your attention to a situation. And you're like, I don't have time for this right now. I have all these other things to do. I can't listen to this anymore. When the action to take is conversation. Here we have the birds. This is communication. So again, sometimes talking to a friend can help. But again, you don't want to make your friendship all about them being a mental health care provider. That being said, if you have to vent, sometimes that's the person to vent to, because they don't take it personally, and so that's better than your significant other. But if this is something that's an ongoing situation that's deep-seated, and it really could be, you have Chiron in your sign stationing direct this week. You have Jupiter moving into your sign this week. This is activating. When Jupiter moves in, it's 11 degrees, 10 degrees is orb, but the inner child is feeling this approach, this energy. It's going to start to feel this energy of, I need to deal with these issues. They've come up many times, and over the holiday season, buttons get pushed, things are triggered. And I really want to encourage you to do what you need to do. But these cards all look fabulous. It comes down to, Are you willing to do what it takes to take care of yourself? Are you willing to do that? And you're not, you're not good for anyone else if you're not good for yourself. You got to take care of yourself first. You have to make yourself a priority. And when you're a mom or a dad, when you have responsibilities, either at work or at home, or I don't know, sometimes you're like, I got to get this stuff done. You feel the weight of responsibility. And Spirit's asking you to be responsible to yourself, to do what you need to do for you. So in the area of resources, you have the sun. That means that right now there's some kind of an opportunity. There's some kind of a resource that's available to you right now that will allow you to manage this. And in the heart space, you have the card of the rider. This is moving forward. But what I love about this one is it shows you being really in tune and in touch with your intuition and spirit leading you and guiding you to the right situation because the sun is shining on it. So I feel like an opportunity comes up and you're like, oh, like somebody, maybe your friend says, you know what, I know somebody that would be really good for you to talk to about this. And it feels right in the heart. And you're like, okay. Or your friend says, I know somebody you need to talk to. And you think, that doesn't sound like the person for me. If you feel like in your heart space that you need to go and talk to the doctor because this reoccurring pain in your foot keeps happening, go see the doctor. Like, make the appointments. Take care of your health. Whether it's your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, they're actually all wrapped up together. They're actually all wrapped up together. Then you're like, yeah, what about my financial health, man? I don't have insurance. That's where you start looking for the opportunities. That's when you start doing a little bit of research to find out where those resources are. Because those resources are here. There's something available to you that you didn't know about before. So asking around, checking and seeing, doing the research, maybe you find, maybe you find a situation where, okay, well, that I can afford. But unless you do the research, you're not going to know. So keep doing it. I feel like you've been seeking answers, but I think that they come in this week. Because in the area of where do you anchor your energy down into, we have the book. The book's closed. And so I wanted to understand what that was about, and they gave me the card of the path. And so it's almost like you have a choice or a decision to make to seek the answers this week. Will you necessarily find the answer this week? I don't know. I can't really tell from this, except that I see the sun shining here. I feel like you get a clue, a hint. I should check that out. And if you get that clue or that hint, you should check that out. However, in this rider, okay, he is walking. I thought he was standing. No, he's walking. He's walking really slow. He's not running. And so I think you're going to move forward slowly toward that, which this time of year, that makes a lot of sense. But you can't keep sitting on go. You're being asked to take some kind of an action. Now, if this is your physical health, when I see the whips here, it's like, I know I should work out. Well, maybe you make that your New Year's resolution and you actually follow through on it for at least a little while. I lost the card in here. Here it is. The Mars in Gemini is keeping everything moving kind of slow right now. So you can start working out. Don't charge, right? We're going to move slowly to start here. So start with walking. Start with stretching. Start with lining up a gym membership. There's all kinds of sales at this time of year, right? Trying to find a personal trainer if you're the kind of person that definitely works better with someone that's doing the planning for you and coaching you along the way. I know I do better with a personal trainer. So, figure out what actually works for you and make a commitment to it. Look, if you're, okay, so So a couple of years ago, my foot was hurting so bad I could barely walk. And it had to do with my liver, of all things. And my level of stress was creating issues that made my foot all like I like putting my shoes on was hard, and taking a step down was hard. It was really bad. And I went to see a massage therapist because I thought it was my foot. And I spent several $100s and several visits with her, and all she did for an hour and a half was work on my foot and my lower leg, and it wasn't working. And so I ended up having to stop and assess, well, why isn't this working? So what is it? Because you have the card here of diving to new depths, and that's what they just showed me, which means that whatever you think the problem is, whatever you think is causing the anxiety, or whatever you think is causing the physical ailment, whatever you think it is, you don't actually know what it is. And there's a need to get more information, to do a deeper dive. There's definitely need some guidance on this. There's a need to shine more of your resources, your time, your energy, your effort into figuring out what it is that you actually need to know, because the clouds are here. There's something more to this than you are aware of. And so you're going to have to do the deep dive. It says diving to new depths. There is a deeper meaning to what is happening. You might be looking at this from the surface and missing what is really going on. Take a moment to pause and breathe and allow yourself to dive deeper into what you are feeling about your current situation. You know, anxiety can play out in a physical ailment. Usually it does. You also have seen from both sides. Take a step back and try looking at this from a different perspective. She has stepped back and she's looking at it from a different perspective. Which way do I go? You need more information. And you're going to get that information by talking to, I want to say, some kinds of professionals. Like, I think you don't know everything you need to know about the situation, whatever this is. And if you don't take corrective action is going to be taken for you. Ooh. And when Spirit decides to correct things with the scythe, that means that's when, you know, if you need a break because you're overworked at work and you're just trying to accomplish a bunch of things and you're mentally stressed out and that's creating other issues for you, and then you're like, well, I'm going to work my way through this, and you go for a run as opposed to going for a walk, and you're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to move this energy, and you go for a run, and you haven't been running in a while, you slip and you fall, or you pull something, or you break something, or you twist something, and you end up like, you know, off of work for like 3 weeks because you have to mend before you can get into a walking boot. That's what it feels like. Like, if you don't slow down and take care of this and look at this, Spirit's going to provide the opportunity for you to do that. And speaking from experience, I can tell you, I would rather do it while it's small than wait for Spirit to get around and bring the hammer. Which is funny because we have the hammerhead here. All right. So there is something in your emotional body that is affecting your physical body. There is something in your emotional body that is affecting your physical body. And so, just like with my foot, what was happening to my foot was about my liver, but what was happening with my liver had to do with my emotional body. Like, it all works together. You have here, embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. Well, you don't know everything? You didn't get everything right? Really? Welcome to humanity. Right? It's okay to screw things up. That's what we're here to do. To make mistakes, to learn to grow. They're showing me the eggs and omelets. Okay, so right, if you don't break something open, you can't see what needs to be done to create something new. So there's a pattern that needs to be broken. There's a way of looking at things that needs to be broken. There's something here, and it's deep and it's emotional. And with with Chiron hanging out in your sign and the North Node getting ready to run into your sign. You're going to have, Chiron is going to be within the next year and a half or so. It's going to come into, well, next year, in 2023. At some point, and not at the exact same time, but at some point, Jupiter is going to conjunct Chiron, and also the North Node is going to conjunct Chiron. Actually, the North Node might get to Chiron next year, but within a year or so. And both of these things are saying, hey, you got to heal this situation. You're going to have to look this thing in the eye. And I think this week, with all of the family energy that comes through the holiday season, you're triggered. A lot of us get triggered by the holidays. Raising my hand here. So look a little deeper from a distance, though. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I told my daughter this week. I also shared this with another sign. Don't remember which one. Maybe Gemini. She said to me, the universe, I think sometimes the universe brings you exactly what you need. And I said, I believe the universe brings you exactly what you need all the time. But sometimes you have to step way back and squint really hard to see it. And I think this is a situation where you need to step way back and squint really hard to see it and get some more information, a different perspective. There's someone you need to talk to. The most interesting reading I've done this week. I did a 2020 year ahead preview for you. I'll put it here. Look, you guys, you have an opportunity when that moon gets into Capricorn, right after the sun gets into Capricorn, to seek the happiness. Choosing joy, choosing happiness. That's how we manifest. And here we have this, she's on the paths, right? I am aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. Something, if you're not happy about something, it's causing this emotional thing that's possibly coming through in a physical ailment, but it could also be coming through in the form of anxiety. We're always supposed to be moving in life toward the joy, toward the happiness. That's what you're here to do. You're here to be happy. And if it's not happiness, then that's the wrong path. And that's how we learn, and that's how we grow. I don't know this one, so I'm going to have to read it to you. So I'm pulling a card here for the new moon in Capricorn. That happens on Friday at 5:17 a.m. Eastern Time Zone in the U.S. Sunday night when I do the... I'm sorry, I could see that the internet got a little jacked up there. Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time Zone, I'm going to pull cards for the solstice, for the change and the shift of the seasons for each sign. So here is your new moon in Capricorn card. You have Valissa, the beautiful. She's looking up those stairs to a huge castle in the sky. All right. It's number 11, so it feels like a gateway opportunity here. My cruel stepmother sent me to Baba Yaga's hut to get some fire. Luckily, I carried my magical doll with me. The witch asked me to perform some domestic tasks for her to earn my fire. My doll helped me, and after a while, she sent me home with a skull lantern full of burning coals. Once at home, the coals burned my stepmother and stepsisters, and I ended up marrying a czar and living happily ever after with my husband, father, and doll. You are going to need courage is the message. You're going to need courage and bravery because some hard times are coming. Oof. You will have to accomplish very demanding tasks. That's because the North Node's getting ready to go through your sign. North Node going through your sign isn't a piece of cake. That's where the eclipses come in. That's where all the hard work starts. But I think you're getting a sneak peek into that energy right now this week as what is going to be triggered and what needs to be resolved. And so have the courage, have the fortitude to move through this energy because on the other side is the happiness. The North Node in your sign, that is Very beneficial energy to be working with. And Jupiter is coming through your sign. This is benevolent, loving energy. And then with Chiron there, that means it is helping you to solve something that is deep-seated that really needs to be healed. Don't be afraid of the journey. Embrace the journey and be excited about the opportunity. So it says here, you will be helped all along the way, and through patience and perseverance, you will find your way home. Keep going. Don't lose hope. In the end, your enemies will be neutralized, and you will get to start a new and happy chapter of your life. This book. You can get not just a new chapter, but a whole new book if you want. It's a very powerful reading. It's a lot in there, Aries. I'm on Facebook every day if you want to check in. Join me in the live chat Sunday night at 7:30. I will also be doing it for Christmas because sometimes we've just had enough of family and we could use a little half-hour break. So we'll be doing it there at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time Zone in the U.S. Guys, you're going to have to do the hard work. This does not look easy, but it looks worth it. That's all. Yeah, looks worth it. All right, you guys take good care. I'll talk to you soon.